Boosting is now against terms of service. World of Warcraft Classic Anniversary Realms, Hardcore, and Season of Discovery, selling raid gold for loot GTKPs, and boosting are not allowed in US or EU realms. Everyone in the chat is spamming W. You guys are so excited. I actually want to chat about this one because everyone seems to absolutely love this, and I feel a little out of the loop because maybe I've been playing hardcore too much or something. Okay, so let me just get this straight. You can buy boost from Blizzard for $60, and they're banning boosting from other players that you could buy with gold. Am I missing something? Yes, that's why they're banning it. Right, so why is everyone so happy? That sounds about right. Okay, so why is everyone so happy? Everyone's spamming W. Everyone's so, like, I'm reading the comments. I'm all for it. Boosting can get effed, but it's definitely funny. It's been allowed up till the paid boost. Yeah, exactly. Like everyone seems so happy, but like it's mainly the spam. Okay, so a lot of people are mainly happy because there's so much spam. So I don't deal with the spam because I don't use LFG usually, and I'm not usually not in like trade chats and stuff. So that's what I didn't understand. Okay, cool. So basically, there's so much spam that it's like you don't even care because it's like finally boosting is gone. Like I can actually just use these services without getting spammed. Okay. Someone in the chat says, hey Czar, this is misinformation. In Wrath, they made it bannable to advertise in-game for boosts. That is what the post is about. It's not bannable to boost, it's bannable to advertise in the game. Oh, well, I think that's even better. Can we get a confirmation on that, Kayvon B? By the way, I hope you're doing well, man. Because that's even better. If you can still boost, like help a friend out, for example, you have a friend and you're like, yo, I'll help you level. That's fine. As long as the spam's gone, I think we're happy, right? People are saying he's wrong and you got one guy to banning boosting is bannable. Let's see if we can take a look at this blue post. Like, let's see if we can get a little more information here. So someone linked this. Carl, thank you. Let's take a look. In-game advertising updated 6 days ago. Selling in-game items and services such as carries or boosting for real money is not allowed, right? I mean, that's been a while. Organizations who offer boosting, matchmaking, escrow, or other non-traditional services are prohibited, especially those operated across multiple realms. Well, right. World of Warcraft Classic Anniversary Realms, Hardcore, and SOD. Selling raid loot for gold, GTKPs, and boosting are not allowed. It's so vague. But here it makes it sound like it's just boosting, period. It's not about, yeah, just it's boosting is not allowed. It doesn't say, you know, putting it in the trade services chat channel. It literally just says boosting, but it's very vague. It's on purpose. You skipped the important part. Well, this is all versions of WoW up here. This is specific to SOD and Anniversary, so that's why I skipped to here. The all versions is nothing new. It's like, yeah, you can't use real money. That's nothing new, but this is new. Guess I'll get banned for running a guildie through Deadmines. So that's kind of my question, right? Where are they drawing the line on boosting is not allowed? Everyone seems happy that the spam's going away, but I'm sitting here asking the question, what does this actually mean? Like, I'm not here spamming W's as much as I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, let's think about this. What does this mean? Boosting for gold is not allowed. Boosting for money is not allowed. Okay, so basically you can run your friend through Deadmines unless they give you gold. Yes, basically. Anti-boost mechanics, what's this? I don't understand how people aren't talking about these new mechanics that Blizzard put into the game in order to sell their paid boosts. I've been doing XP farming dungeon runs, and these new changes are making the experience bad, and bugs seem to have come with it too. Having the experience nerfed if mobs are great to someone in the party should have been enough, question mark. I understand Blizzard wants to make more money, but please come up with a better solution for the teleporting, stunning, slow immune BS. I said this months ago when they first talked about it on the PTR. I said this again a couple weeks ago. I definitely agree that it fixes the problem, but there's got to be a better way. It fixes the problem, but there's got to be a better way because it actually hinders real gameplay. You did, I remember. Yeah, I mean, I want to like think about these things and push back where pushback is necessary and not just be like W or L blindly. It's like, hold on, let's think and like see, is this actually the best thing? Like, no boosts, okay, that's probably good, but how you're doing it matters, right? Discussion is healthy. Yeah, definitely. All right. You should also mention the fact that boosting encourages gold buying and inflation of the game economy. Are you saying level 58 boost or other people boosting? Oh, I see what you're saying. If you buy a boost from other people, you need to pay them. which means you'll also probably buy gold to pay them. So by them cutting out boosting, they're cutting out gold buying. That's okay. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty green then, I guess. I didn't really like think about that too much. Yeah, I guess that's a pretty big deal. Like they're kind of fighting, they're fighting gold sellers by making boosting not a thing. That actually might be the primary reason. It might be like primary reason number 1 to stop the spam. Primary reason number 2 to stop gold buying. That actually might be a pretty big thing. And there's no WoW token yet. Yet. Let's take a look at this post. The anti-boosting stuff is awful. Dungeon groups fall apart. I had a 50-something feral druid an anniversary, and I leveled him to 60 in the pre-patch. I got most of my gear. I was trying to do the group. I'm 60. I'm over geared. It's a group of casters, so maybe I can get Hosh instead of a green trinket. Okay, group's mostly low levels. You begin clearing. They say how each kill is only netting 8 or 9 experience. Then I remember they added this anti-boosting stuff. The healer's level 56, and he says he's only trying to level, so he leaves. We find another healer, a holy pally, and we kill some bosses and do arena. We go to the long hallway where you jump out of the window and you skip the dwarves, jump down to Incendious. I aggro the dwarves, we jump out of the window. Every single mob we aggro teleports onto us instantly on the tiny platform. Again, this is some feature to stop boosting or farming. We kill them all. We hop down to the highway to Incendious. Nobody needs them, so we jump down to the lava and head to Emperor. Well, the holy pally aggros Incendious and jumps down, but it's teleported to him to Incendious nonstop. He bubbles, jumps down, but before he can even touch the lava, he's teleported on top of Incendious. Eventually he dies. He's mad and leaves the group. This is a really dumb feature. Guys, I hate to say I told you so, but yeah, I called this from like months ago when this was, I was like, there's gotta be a better way. We shouldn't go forward with this. This is gonna hurt the game. It helps, it fixes the problem, but it causes more problems. If you fix a problem by causing more problems, it's probably not a good fix. All right, so let's think here. Let's not be complainers, but let's be problem solvers and figure out what would be a better way for Blizzard to fix this. Right? We all agree it's a problem. What would be a better way than having the mobs teleport to you, having mobs get immune to slows? What would be a better way? Remove mages. Okay. Delete mages. Okay. So okay. So that's what you guys want. That's what you guys really want. The truth comes out. I don't want this just reverted. I want a new change to take its place. And if we can't come up with something better, then that burden's on us. Well, I guess it's not really on us, but like if I'm going to suggest a change, I want to suggest a good change. I'm not just going to be like, hey, Blizzard, please fix this. That's useless talk. That's completely useless. Please fix this. It's like, brother, we need to come up with solutions and maybe provide a good solution and maybe they'll listen. Real voice reveal. You know, I try to never be that guy, right? That's just like whining to whine with no solution oriented thinking. You're way too logical for Twitch chat. I mean, guys, if we come up with a good solution, I'll send it to Blizzard. All right. I'm just saying we got to think. If we have no good solutions, then it is what it is. Like we want the game to be the best it can be. Right. And if this prevents boosting, but has some downsides and we can't think of anything else, maybe it is good. But it's like, I would like to come up with a better solution. Get rid of all gold. More GMs to monitor more. Read the Reddit post comments. Our lobby, yeah, good idea. Our lobby group got no XP in RFC because our group had a level 21 pally doing his class quest until he gets 20. Good stuff, Blizzard. They managed to ruin core gameplay mechanics. It's so bad. Yes, the anti-farming stuff already ruined low-level dungeons, giving mobs roots slow immunity after a short time. Classic memories of scuffed pulls leading to several packs at once, and total chaos is now an instant wipe. This should be top comment. Blizzard updated boosting for gold as a bannable offense. So now they banned sold boost, and they should remove all anti-boosting mechanics that hurt groups. Oh, that should be the top comment. Do you need both? If it's already bannable, maybe you remove the anti-boosting mechanics, but then mages can still, no, I guess it's different because no, maybe that shouldn't be the top voted post because mages can still AoE farm, sell gold, and they're trying to work the other way around to eliminate gold sellers. This is what they're trying to do. They're working both sides. This is the other side. I think the idea is fine. It's the execution that needs tweaking. WoW players are always going to whine. So what's the execution that needs tweaking specifically? Like what do you mean by that, right? Should it be higher level ranges? Should it be the mobs are immune to slow, but it takes like 3 minutes for them to be immune to slow or something instead of 30 seconds? Like, what do you mean tweaking, right? You cannot fix gold selling. It doesn't mean you can't try to stop it or slow it down though. But I agree with you. There'll always be gold selling to some degree, but if they can reduce it by a lot. Like, that'd be great. Why not disable experience gains if there's too much of a level discrepancy? So that's kind of, they already kind of have that in the game. And this is kind of what this guy is talking about. Our lobby group got no experience in RFC because our group had a 21 pally doing his class quest. He gets at 20. So like the pally had a class quest at 20. He wanted to do RFC, then no one got XP. So like you can do that, but then it has, and then same thing in this post. The healer at level 56 didn't get XP because there's a level 60 tank, but the 60 tank actually wanted HOJ and BRD, but it means no one else was getting XP. So there's like things. Big Kahuna, thanks for the sub, man. Solo it, walk past the mobs, easy. Yeah, I guess that's fair for the pally perspective. I think for BRD, it might make a little more sense. Like, is a tank filling a group? And there it is. Kayvon, thanks for the prime. You say, the topic is in-game advertising. They're purposefully vague. It was the exact post that was made in Wrath. Proof is in the description of my OG video. It's the same post. Important. It is not allowed to advertise in-game or any public channel for boost, and it will result in you being muted or even banned. I boost friends and friends through the grapevine. Also, the OG Slave Pens boost guy, and the boost guy said TBC Wrath Sod. Interesting. I mean, I guess like still at your own risk. I think at the end of the day, if you're boosting a friend and they're not paying you and you're just doing that, I feel like you've got to be completely fine. If there's gold exchange and you're advertising, like bannable, sketchy, scary, right? Make mobs evade after pulling a certain number of mobs. No standard non-boosting group can pull 20 mobs at once or whatever the number is. I think that's a decent idea, but then you run into this problem. The anti-farming stuff already ruined low-level dungeons by giving mobs a root slow immunity after a short time. Classic memories of scuffed pulls leading to several packs at once and total chaos is now an instant wipe instead of potential fond memories of succeeding against terrible odds. Right? Somehow holding a terrible pull together by slows, traps, stuns, and kiting for a miraculous recovery is just gone, as suddenly you have 10 mobs immune running to kill everyone. I think this was kind of my point. Like when I first read the blue post from a few months ago, or watched a video or whatever it was, and I was like, wait a minute, this is going to actually just hurt the WoW experience, not just stop boosting. That's kind of why I was against it. And the thing that you just suggested, make mobs evade after pulling a certain number, would do the same thing, right? So once again, the question remains, what should be done if it's not this? The slow immunity is a bad solution. I mean, I think a lot of us agree the slow immunity is a bad solution. What's a better one? That's the question. We've been asking this question for weeks and really haven't come up with anything, and maybe Blizzard was in the same boat, so they're like, crap, we got to do something. Only occur in less than 5 people in the dungeon. If there's less than 5 people in the dungeon, the booster will just get 5 boosty boys in the same dungeon. We don't know, bro. Let's move on. Yeah, no one knows. Well, I mean, I think it's a good mental exercise, though, right? Like if you're gonna complain about something, it's good to think, well, if I was in charge, what would I do? Like, it's just a good mental exercise. And if you can't come up with anything, well, maybe there's a reason why it's that way. The biggest thing I'm seeing in the chat, like the common denominator, is a lot of you guys seem to be just wanting more GMs. And I think that's a fair, like, it's kind of vague and like whatever, but I think that's somewhat fair. Just like more GMs, just more game masters flying around and looking at things that are not supposed to be and just banning people. More GMs. Fair enough. There's like 10 GMs. I don't know, man. Hey, Nafa, thanks for the prime. WoW token add lower boost prices so you can buy like 3K gold enough money to buy a boost and it's cheaper than paying to boosters. I could be dumb though. So you guys are saying the way to fix gold buying is to add the WoW token. I mean, Blizzard would love that idea. Let me tell you that. They would love that idea. Oh. I heard on Swifty stream they're gonna add the token to TBC. I mean, it's not in yet. It's not in yet, guys. What about putting a cap on the number of mobs that you can stun or slow with abilities? For instance, Frost Nova can only root X number of mobs per cast. Well, that kind of goes to this guy's point right here. And this is why it's hard to solve. You get a big scuffed pull, it leads to chaos. Normally, what do? If you have like, say you accidentally pull three packs, the mage will Frost Nova all 3 packs and you'll run out of the dungeon. It'll be like, oh crap, that was scary. Or maybe you'll Nova all 3, you know, and then you kind of there's a hunter with a feign death slow trap and you start kiting and AoEing and like you actually do it somehow and then it's awesome. that is the point, right? We don't want to remove that. We want to remove boosting. And it's hard to remove one without the other. Yeah, people's just like, just delete mages, are. A cap means you can still kite. Immunity means you can't at all. So you're saying instead of root slow immunity, you put a cap of 20 mobs that you could still Frost Nova 20, but not 21. That's actually a decent solution. Hold on, let's think about this one. What if there was a 20 mob AoE like dungeon cap? Does that have any negative consequences outside of boosting? That's actually that's a decent thought experiment. So if you pull 25 mobs in accident, you could still Nova 20 of them, but a booster couldn't pull the whole dungeon. That's stupid. So yeah, why is it stupid? Let's think about it. That's what I've been saying. That actually might be smart. I can't poke any holes in it instantly, but I would like to think how we could. Double mage solved. So you're saying you would have to boost with 2 mages? You could boost with 2 mages, but still though, you normally pull like 100 mobs. Why even remove boosting? I think the number one reason to remove boosting is because gold sellers make a lot of their golds from like AoE farming dungeons. So you want to like gold makers have a harder time making gold, and then 2, buying a boost, you're probably buying gold as well. So this is a straight attack on gold sellers. Like they're trying to solve the gold selling issue from all angles. Right. I actually kind of think that is a decent solution. Can anyone poke a hole on why that solution wouldn't work? You do an AoE cap on how many targets will be affected by your abilities. On a normal pull, it would almost never matter if it's over like 15 or 20, but on an AoE, a booster, it would. That actually might be a better solution than what they have. I might give that one a thumbs up if no one can poke a hole in that idea. I don't know if it's a perfect solution, but I think it might be better than the one they have. There already is an AoE cap on damage, so it's a different AoE cap, not damage cap. It's a AoE cap. The hole is paladin boost. You can already pally boost. Yeah, sounds good to me. Prop pally, become the booster. I'm that guy. You get disconnected if you pull more than 21 mobs. I don't know about that. Just put a cap on money, loot, and experience. That was kind of my initial like knee-jerk solution when I was thinking about this months ago was, why don't we just make it so that after a certain amount of instance resets per day, gold stops dropping. So like, yeah, you can farm, 5 dungeons a day and then gold stops dropping. But then people were like, yeah, bro, but then the boosters are just going to they'll have like 15 mages. They'll do 5 dungeons on one, 5 dungeons on another, 5 on another, 5 on another, and then wait the next day and then do it all again. And it's like crap. So anyway, that's why it's good to have the discussion. True. Exactly. Like a lot of these things like we might think about and they're like, oh, that's a pretty good idea. And then it like doesn't work. Have a chat monitor if you ask for a booster offer boost, you're locked out of a dungeon for a amount of time. Add adaptability to lingo as it evolves. All players that use this lingo get investigated and banned based on use case. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I think we're talking more about the root slow immunity fix, but I mean, that's good from the detection perspective, I think. No matter what they do, boosters will find a way to make money, and real world trade is literally their job. That's a fair point, but I don't think it means that Blizzard shouldn't try. Like, do you agree with that? No matter what Blizzard does, people will still sell gold, right? They're making a lot of money doing it. They're going to find a way around. But you should at least try to fight it. I don't think there's any reason to say, oh, well, it's a losing battle, so let's not try at all. I think we definitely still try. What about slow and immunity on gray mobs only? That would actually be interesting. So if you're fighting gray mobs, they become slow immune. So if you wanted to be a booster, you'd have to constantly do it with mages that were lower level, but then they would eventually level, making the churn much higher, making them much harder to boost. Finally, he reads it. That actually is an interesting solution. That's got to be the key. So like you could still slave pens boost, for example, at like on a 62 mage, but once you dinged 70, they're going to be gray. So then if you wanted to boost more, you'd have to do a new mage, which is like that's a lot of churn. ZG gets stopped that way, right? Because they're gray mobs. Slave pens get stopped that way. That might be another decent solution. In slave pens, there's 63, so they're still green. 7 levels, okay. So maybe it would have to be like a 7 level range or something, or 9 level or whatever level range. Yeah, that's a interesting solution though. So it's not root and slow immunity to everyone. It's only if you're a certain level above. That I actually kind of like that. Already a much better solution. Right. I actually think that might be a good amendment to this. Like, if you're in the proper level range, the mobs and slow immunity will never happen. But if you're over leveled, that's who it's going to happen to. I think, does anyone not like this? I feel like that's actually like just a good amendment to this. I feel like that would kind of work. I feel like that's kind of fine. So we've come up with like 2 ideas that kind of work. The AoE cap and then the amendment to only gray mobs. So those are like 2 decent ideas. Cool. At least we came up with something. I've been like scratching my head about this for months, trying to think about like what's the best way to. It's not a perfect solution, but maybe better than this one. All right. Is there anything else? Let's change topics. We've been yapping long enough. I find this stuff really interesting. I'm not a game dev, but I'm a player that's invested in World of Warcraft. Well, 1, financially as a streamer, but 2, it's the game I played my entire life. So I want the game to be as good as it can be for multiple reasons. And thinking about this stuff, like, well, it kind of matters to me, right? So it's like, how can we make the game as good as it can be? Let's put our heads together and think. And maybe we can come up with a suggestion good enough to offer up to Blizzard. And then maybe they'll take our solution and implement it in the game. The real question is, would we be happy if Blizzard more GMs but increase the sub price? I don't know. 50 cents or $1? Probably. Doubling? Probably not. I don't know. I would like more GMs. I think everyone could agree it would be nice to feel a GM presence in the game that you're playing. It's like in the MMO space, it's like God or something, right? It's like you want to have a GM flying around. You don't want to see them necessarily flying around, but you want to know they're there. If something's bad, you know, someone's griefing, they pull the mob away and you're like, wow, a GM did that, you know? Or even sometimes when you're playing the game on a brand new feature launch or something like in Season of Discovery, and you see a GM there sitting on the side before he flies away, you know, every once in a while, something like that. Could be sick. But yeah. Okay, is there anything else to cover? This was pretty big news. I wanted to chat about this for a while. Boosting against TOS is some big news.